Hello, my friends out there in YouTube world. Well, today I'm a little blue, a little sad today. I just didn't get things the way I wanted them to go. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't always go our way, and when it doesn't, we're not very happy. We've talked about that before. And then I had to really wallow in my sadness for a little bit, and then I had to say it's time to get up and move and get on. So I pulled myself up from my bootstraps, really my sneakers, and said, let's get on with the day. And a little book that I had at my house gave me a better sense of perspective. And it's called The Jar of Happiness, and it's written by Ailsa Burrows. So this is my little jar of happiness. I'll talk about that first, and then I think we'll do the story, then I'll talk about my jar of happiness. Because then maybe you, too, are sad today. Things didn't go the way you wanted. Didn't fit your plan. You get what I'm saying. So this book, A Jar of Happiness, is a great reminder to reset, I guess. Once there was a little girl named Meg who invented her own kind of happiness. Oh, look. It is so wonderful. It glows. That happiness in a jar with all her test tubes and weights and measures. She has made something that makes her really happy. Something she wanted. It tasted of chocolate ice cream, apple juice, and sunshine, and it smelled of warm cookies and the ocean. And here's Meg having all those great treats that she loves so much, all in that jar of happiness. She, of course, is not really in the jar. These are just the things that make Meg happy. And ended up in her jar of happiness. It was red, yellow, and all the other best colors. Meg took it everywhere with her. See, she's having her bath, and her jar of happiness is there getting a good scrubbing. And then Meg took it for a bike ride with her little faithful kitten with her. She took it to her friend Zoe, who was feeling a little glum. So here's Zoe, and you can tell her face is kind of like mine today, sad. But Meg has her jar and the sweet kitten, and she's like, it's okay, Zoe, it's going to be all right. And so Meg starts doing some fun things to make Zoe laugh. A little puppet show, acting out a bit, and look, Zoe has forgotten her troubles because of her friend. It cheered up Oma, who didn't feel well. So you see she has her hot water bottle and her hot beverage, and she's just not feeling very good, but she gets the jar of happiness and she's feeling better. And here we have our smart Meg with her jar of happiness singing songs to Oma and bringing her animals to play in the orchestra, and Oma is happy. Meg shared it with Leon too. So, okay, here is Meg, okay, and here's Leon, though only when he was being nice to her. Seems like a brother-sister relationship happens. Yeah, but Meg's holding on to her jar of happiness. One morning, Meg could not find her jar of happiness. She's looking under the cat's tail, and looked in the bathtub maybe. Where's her happiness gone? And looked, but she couldn't find the jar anywhere. She's even upside down. She's looking everywhere she's gone. And her face is getting sadder and sadder because her jar of happiness is away from her. Where could it be? So both she and her kitty look very sad. Meg visited Zoe, who showed her how to make happiness out of smiles. Okay, so now the tables are turned. Remember, Zoe was sad before. Meg helped her. Now the two of them are dancing, and all of a sudden, Meg is not feeling sad, but has a smile on her face. And the kitty is dancing too. She visited Oma, who gave her a bit of happiness made from hugs and tickles. The love of a grandmother or older buddy. And Leon explained how thinking happy thoughts can scare away gloomy feelings, bad smells, and even monsters. So even her brother, seemingly, wants to help his sister who's having a sad day. By the end of the day, Meg still hadn't found her jar, but she had found plenty of happiness. Now I want to point out, here's her faithful kitty, and whatever was in that jar, the kitty is getting the best of it as far as licking it all up underneath Meg's bed. And then the kitty is finally asleep, thinking wonderful thoughts, happy thoughts. Isn't it a nice story? So this idea of our jar of happiness, I truly made one because I was sad. And I thought, I've got to snap out of this. So what's in my jar of happiness? Well, I like birds. I like nature. So I've got my little owl to remind me of the beautiful things in nature and the real wonder of nature. I like summertime a lot, and I like flowers. So I have a flower in my jar of happiness. And I even like playing in the snow on a beautiful, not too cold summer day. Oops, winter day. Got mixed up. I love to paint and do crafty little things. Oh yes, it's hiding. I love to have snacks. Don't you? I love snacks. And lastly, but not lastly, I have pictures of my family and my family and more of my family and friends and more friends and my home and my granddaughter and my mom and my dad and my sister. So when I put these things in the jar, it did make me happier because I realized even though today's not a happy day for me necessarily, I have a lot going on in my life that can make me happy, deeply happy, and so can you. So on that thought, and thinking about our birdie friends, let's go over to the little table and make a craft to make us happy. So here's today's craft, which will really be, here at the library for you this whole next week. And it does make me smile. There's something sweet and just fun with it. And it's so simple, but isn't that okay too? That's great. So how did I make my little fun bird? Well, you notice that he's made out of a colored pine cone that I found at stores. And he has big googly eyes. And he had his birdie beak. And then he's got a couple really fun colored feathers. Super simple. But if you want, I'll put a piece of string in there. You can hang that eventually on your Christmas tree or your holiday tree, whatever you call it. So here's what you're going to get in your kit. Whoops, I guess I had it upside down. You're going to get your pine cone. This one, I pulled the top off because I was trying other things, but yours will have a little top on it for hanging on your tree or wherever. So there's your pine cone. And then you'll have 2 googly eyes. You'll have 2 brightly colored feathers. And I will cut a triangle that is meant to be together like a beak. And that's it. That's your craft. And crafting makes me happy. And having time with you. Until next week. Think good thoughts. Bye-bye.